Welcome to the Daily Fantasy 5 for this Friday, July 12th. This is episode 142. I'm your host, Scott Grierson, and we are bringing you the 5 things you need to know every day in the world of fantasy sports. I forgot to turn on the other recording, so let's go ahead and do that right now as we are live on YouTube. Okay, we are on the Daily Fantasy 5, and we appreciate you joining us today. My name is Scott, and I'm your host on this Friday, July 12th. This is episode 142, and we're bringing you the 5 things you need to know every day in the world of fantasy sports. All right, so the big news is that Russell Westbrook finally got traded last night. I was teaching online until about 10:30 when I saw the news break. I thought about doing a podcast, an emergency pod last night, and I decided, you know what, let's wait on my thoughts, and maybe they will simmer down because I did not like this trade at all for either team last night. Don't like it much today either. So let's go through it. I forgot about our sponsor, www.mathradio.com, where you can pick up an online math course for as little as $9.99. Go to Math Radio to help your child ages 7 through 17 to get better grades, score higher on exams, and even get into college. www.mathradio.com. All right, with that being said, let's talk about the trade. So they ended up just a straight up swap Westbrook for Chris Paul out of the Houston Rockets. They're also giving up two top four protected first round picks and two pick swaps. So Oklahoma City now has I think 8 extra first round picks in the next 7 years and 4 pick swaps. That is absolutely crazy. They are like all in on the draft in the next 7 years. So why don't I like it for Oklahoma City? Well, first of all, to get Paul off their team, they're going to have to give up assets to move him to wherever it is, Miami, maybe. I don't know. I don't know who else could actually want Chris Paul. The contract is awful. I guess it's only for another 3 years, so it's not as bad as I thought it was last night when I looked it up. But even for 3 years, they're going to be in cap hell for 3 years, and there's just basically nothing they can do about it. And they brought in all these assets, right, from Houston. So now they're just going to have to send those assets back out to get Russell Westbrook off the team. I mean, that seems crazy to me. I would have rather just made the deal with Miami. So Miami could have done this deal. They could have given you Dragic, who has 1 year left at $19 million. Olynyk, 2 years at $12 million. I mean, it's not a fantastic contract, but it's not bad either. And then you could have either taken Winslow if you like his talent for 4 years, or Waiters for 2 years, whatever you want. They both make around $12 million, and that would even out the salaries if Oklahoma City included Patterson. Okay, so this way, Oklahoma City has one less year on all the contracts. They're getting rid of $19 million with Dragic next year. And then they could have also picked up the 2025 first-round pick from Miami and a 2024 pick swap. Personally, I'd rather have that deal and not have to deal with Chris Paul being on my team. All right, because Oklahoma City is going to have to trade him, I would assume. Paul's just going to be a malcontent in Oklahoma, and I don't think you want that on your team, right? You're trying to groom Shea Gilchrist Alexander. You don't want Chris Paul hanging around teaching him bad habits. That doesn't seem to make sense to me. So I don't like this trade at all. For Houston, I mean, I guess I like it better. They kind of had to mortgage their entire future. And I mean, the future is now, right? I guess I don't mind pairing Westbrook with Harden. But my problem is, what guarantee do you have that Harden is on this team after next year? Harden's only on the team for 1 more year guaranteed with his contract. After next season, you could have Harden be gone and be stuck with Westbrook. You're Oklahoma City without the second star. What do you do at that point? You're not getting some huge haul for Russell Westbrook. It's just not going to happen next year. It's going to be another year removed from his prime. I don't get this for Houston. It is a huge risk. Do you really think that Harden and Westbrook make you better than the Clippers or the Lakers or the Jazz? I don't see it. Man, I think it's a lot to give up. 2 first-round picks, 2 pick swaps. If it goes wrong, which it could go wrong after the season, you're completely screwed. I mean, you're done. For like 6 years, you're done. You're like Brooklyn Nets bad for the next 4 years. So I hate it from Houston's standpoint. I guess Oklahoma City, if they can unload Paul for, say, one of those draft picks or maybe even both, and they just keep the pick swaps. So you basically traded Russell Westbrook for 2 pick swaps and no salary taken back, or all first-year salary. I think that's fine. So I guess I like it better from Oklahoma City side, but I don't like it at all. And that's my take on the Westbrook trade. From a fantasy standpoint, I have no idea how it's going to work. If he is, I think his value goes way up. because I think he'll probably be the starter as they kind of get SGA back into the flow of things. For Westbrook, I mean, I don't know what's going to happen. They're not just going to give him rebounds like they did in Oklahoma City. The assist numbers might increase, but I mean, Harden's on the ball all the time. I mean, last year, Paul just sat in the corner kind of, and that was the offense, and Harden just had the ball. Westbrook can't do that. Westbrook can't just sit in the corner. He's not a three-point shooter. Westbrook has to have the ball in his hands to be effective, more or less. Now, I think this team could be very effective, run through Westbrook, Harden being the guy that shoots the ball. Maybe they share. I don't know how it's going to work, but yeah, I would say Westbrook's stock is down, Harden's stock is down, Paul's stock is up. That's how I would see it. Okay, so today we are also continuing our football week, our fantasy football quarterbacks week, and we're going to go through my top 4 fantasy quarterbacks. So that was all the fantasy news we had from last night. Let's move over to fantasy football. Let's recap our top 20 so far. I have Prescott, number 20, Stafford, 19, Cousins, 18, Roethlisberger, 17, Lamar Jackson, 16, Josh Allen, 15, Tom Brady, 14, Phillip Rivers, 13, Carson Wentz, 12, Jared Goff, 11, Watson, number 10, which is kind of low according to a lot of people, Russell Wilson, number 9, Drew Brees, number 8, Garoppolo, number 7, Cam Newton, number 6, and Baker Mayfield, number 5. Okay, my top 4, we are starting with Matt Ryan. So Matty Ice finished second somehow last season. I never would have guessed it. I feel like I never owned him in daily fantasy. I feel like he didn't have that much of a remarkable season. I mean, I just never would have guessed that he came in second last year. But I guess he does have 2 things going for him: a bad defense and a lot of weapons. The Falcons finished, 25th in DVOA last year on defense? So they were pretty bad. Do I have that number right? I do. 25th according to DVOA in defense. Now, they were injured a lot last year on defense, and they'll get a lot of those players back. Maybe they will improve. I'm not particularly buying it, but I do like Matt Ryan this season. Another year with Ridley, Antonio or Jones should still be fantastic. I think they should be just fine. My problem is that Matt Ryan is being drafted as QB5. Okay, that's 60th overall. But I have seen him drop a couple times into the late 6th, early 7th round. And if he does fall that far, especially if I have like an early 7th round pick, I'm happy to pick up Matt Ryan with that 7th round pick. I think that's good value. I don't like taking a quarterback in the top 4, but if one of these guys like Matt Ryan, we'll talk about Andrew Luck in just a second, falls to me in the late 6th or early 7th, I'm happy to start them as an elite quarterback and not have to deal with the bottom guys. So that is my number 4 quarterback, Matt Ryan. My number 3 quarterback is Andrew Luck. I just mentioned it. He finished 5th last year for the Indianapolis Colts. And the problems that I have with Luck are the same problems everybody else does. The Colts have a defense that's improving. I think they were 10th or 11th in DVOA last year, and they should only get better this year. Plus, they have a good running game with Marlon Mack. I think this Colts team is going to be all about running the ball, playing good defense, and then Andrew Luck making plays when he has to because he has the capability to do it, but they want to keep him fresh and healthy. A good offensive line and not throwing the ball 40, 50 times a game should help a lot with that. So that's why I don't think Luck can be in the top because he doesn't have the same opportunities that Mahomes or Ryan will get. I think there's a better chance that Ryan finishes number 1 over Andrew Luck, right? But I like the talent that Luck has better than Ryan, so I ended up putting Luck just 1 spot ahead of Matt Ryan. Let's see. Luck finished 5th last year. He's going 4th in ADP this year, around the same spot. Matt Ryan is going. He's going, I think, number 58 overall in ADP. So, again, if Luck falls to you in that late 6th, early 7th, I'm happy to grab him. I just don't see Luck fall that often. I'm sure the numbers are right, but I far more often see Matt Ryan fall than I do Andrew Luck. So, I'm not sure what's up with that, but, yeah, Andrew Luck never falls to me. I don't own him in any league so far. Maybe that'll change later on. Okay, quarterback number 2 is Rodgers, right? Rodgers from Green Bay. Aaron Rodgers is a great quarterback. He finished 6th last year. A lot of turbulence last year on that team. They changed coaches. He should have a whole new offense in place. And a sixth place finish in a down year is not that bad. So Matt LaFleur comes to town with a new offense, and hopefully it will be enough to get him back into the top 5 because the offense didn't really add any weapons. I thought they would add, a tight end, an offensive lineman, and maybe another wide receiver, but they didn't really do any of that. They added all guys to the defensive side of the football, which I don't like. So for me, the new coach and the new system outweighs the other players on the team. And I think Rodgers just has the talent to finish as the number one quarterback in a new modern day system, right? With a modern day coach. So I love Rodgers here. I think he's my number two quarterback. However, I know he's my number two quarterback, excuse me. He never ends up on my team because, I mean, to get Rodgers, you have to spend either a fourth round, fifth round pick. I'm just not willing to do that. I'd rather have Luck or Ryan in the seventh round. I'd rather have my other quarterbacks that I mentioned earlier in the 12th, 13th, 14th round than spending a top four, top five pick on Rodgers. The one guy I would spend a fourth round pick on is Mahomes. Now, Mahomes was amazing last year for Kansas City. He is my number one quarterback. He led the league last year with 417 fantasy points. That's 4 points per game higher than any other quarterback. That is nuts. The defense in Kansas City, I believe, got worse. It sounds like Hill might actually play this year, which I didn't expect when I originally wrote this about a month ago. So his weapons might not be as bad as we thought they were. I mean, we know Kareem Hunt is gone, but if Hill's back on this team, look out. The sky's the limit for Mahomes. And like I said, I think the defense is going to be worse. The pass rush should be awful. Mahomes should be in shootouts every single game. I have very few doubts about Mahomes. I hear people doubting him all the time. He doesn't have the same weapons. He doesn't have this or that. Well, you know what? He still has Andy Reid. The guy is incredible. I think the team is going to be awesome this year. Well, let me rephrase. I think the offense is going to be awesome in Kansas City. I'm not so sure about the defense. But I guess my point is, if you can grab the number one quarterback in fantasy sports as your fourth round pick, I mean, you've got to do it, right? There's just no question. And I think there's no question that he is the number one quarterback in fantasy. I've heard people say Deshaun Watson should be that number one quarterback. I totally disagree. Mahomes is my number one guy. Obviously, Watson is way down my list, basically because of injury history. But I know we've only seen it for 1 year, but Mahomes is my guy. I'm sticking with him. If he falls to me in the fourth round, I am going to grab him. But in most leagues, he's going to go in the second or third. And yeah, that won't be me picking him up. But that is our show for today. We will be back tomorrow on Saturday to maybe it's possible that Westbrook could be traded tomorrow or today. I think we got a full slate of baseball tonight. Let me just check it out real quick and let you know. I'm pretty sure that is the case. While I am saying that, yes, we have a full slate of baseball games, so we'll probably have some injuries and fun stuff to talk about tomorrow with that. We're going to do fantasy football quarterback sleepers tomorrow as well, and then we'll have another mock draft Sunday. So until tomorrow, please give us a 5-star rating and a review on whatever podcatcher you use, iTunes, Spotify, all those good places. If you're watching the show on YouTube, please click that red subscribe button and leave us a comment below. And check out our sponsor, www.mathradio.com, to help out your child to get better grades, higher scores on exams, and even get into college if they are between the ages of 7 and 17. For only $9.99, go to mathradio.com. That's it for today. We'll see you tomorrow. Bye.